Another very important thing to have as part of your lifting gear, guys, is your own clips. How you doing, guys? Willie Flex with 3X's here, and today's video is about lifting gear. Is your lifting gear optimal? Are you wearing the right things for the specific exercises that you're doing? Do you have the stability and the support that you need to ensure that you don't get injured and that the exercises are done properly? Most importantly, in my opinion, the shoes that you're wearing in the gym play a big role in making sure that you have stability while doing your compound lifts and making sure that you're protected and safe. The lifting shoe, pretty much my favorite. And it's my favorite because I was dealing with patella tendonitis for a while because my my heels would come off the ground and it would put a lot of stress on my patella. Having the heel on the shoe, as you can see, helped me keep my heel down and making sure that they're not coming up so there isn't unnecessary stress on my patella tendon when I'm squatting down. So guys, the lifting shoe, very important. The Romaleo 3s are my favorite. Very comfortable, give you some nice stability. You can sit back on the squat and not worry about your heels coming off the ground because the heel will prevent that from happening. Moving forward, another lifting shoe, guys, that you should be having, right? Those are just squat shoes, so I only use them for squatting. So if you're gonna do other hypertrophy movements, for example, you're gonna do leg press, you're gonna do lunges, getting a shoe with a flat, very flat surface is good, right? Same thing, my heels will not come up with this shoe. It is very flat, right? These are Asics, they're wrestling shoes. They're very cheap and they're very comfortable, right? It's almost like wearing a slipper. So, after you're finished doing your squats, you take your Romaleos off and you throw your Asics on, or you can also use Vans or Converse. Those are also very good because they're nice and flat and it'll prevent from heels coming up off the ground and making sure that you're nice and stable. And the reason why I made the shoe the most important for myself is because sometimes in the gym I see a lot of people wearing like Yeezys and foam posits and Vapor Maxes to squat or to do any leg exercises or like deadlifts or things of that nature. It's a really bad idea, guys. Those shoes have bubble wrapping in them. They will lift up off the ground and force you to compensate with using your patella tendon in the motion of the squat or the motion of the deadlift. I know you guys want to look cool and you want to rock your Yeezys and you want to rock your Vapor Maxes, and look all bougie in the gym. But what's more important? Having no pain because your heels aren't coming up off the ground, or looking cool with knee pain? I think I'll take the less cool look, and making sure that my knees are saved. And in my opinion, the Romaleos look pretty freaking cool. So guys, stop squatting in Yeezys, stop squatting in Vapor Maxes and all those fancy Jordans. No bueno. Another very important thing to have as part of your lifting gear, guys, is your own clips. Get your own clips, guys. I've seen many times, or even experienced myself, where I go to a gym and they don't have clips. They have those little metal spring clips, and sometimes those aren't reliable. Sometimes they slide or they're not properly tight enough. So having your own clips that open up and tighten, so you can put it in, slide it in nice, push it in nice and tight and clamp it, and it should be nice and tight. These are really good clips. They're about $10, so they're not expensive, guys. And yes, get your own clips. They will come in handy. A belt, guys. Please stop using those little Vallejo belts or those little Hardbringer belts that barely have any support and are not thick enough while doing these very heavy compound lifts, because you're not going to be able to create enough intra-abdominal pressure with that little, thin belt. And plus it's made out of like a Velcro or like a very weak fabric, right? This is a full hard leather belt, guys. Like, you see how thick that is, right? Look how thick that is. That's like a 13mm belt, right? Tighten it up nice and tight, making sure it's in a good spot right in the middle of the abdomen, and you can create enough intra-abdominal pressure with a belt like this to do a heavy pull. And no, guys, wearing a belt is not cheating. Just because you wear this does not mean you'll pull 700 pounds. It just means that you'll be in a more optimal position to generate enough core strength and core stability, to set yourself up for a good lift. Not necessarily cheating, it just creates more intra-abdominal pressure. So guys, get a powerlifting belt or a 13mm belt that is thick enough. really good thing that you should have in your gear equipment, guys, is chalk, right? So a lot of gyms don't allow chalk. If your gym does not allow chalk, cancel your membership right now and switch to another gym because you're in the wrong gym for powerlifting. I think chalk is very important. Sometimes when you're doing mixed grip, it might not be enough to keep, you know, your grip stable enough, so like the bar might slip, especially if you're pulling a very heavy number. Chalk is really good. Sometimes you might want to chalk up your back on a squat to make sure that the bar doesn't, you know, roll or slide down a little more than it should. Or also in a bench press, you know, you want to make sure that your grip is nice, tight, as hard as it can be, and it's not going anywhere. Chalk does help with that a lot, and I really like chalk. It's not necessarily, you know, something that you have to get, but it's something that I believe is very good to have in your gym bag. Another thing, guys, you should have in your gym bag is wrist wrap, guys. Get yourself some wrist wraps. And like I said, stop getting those little Hardbringer or those little Vallejo wrist wraps. You need thick wrist wraps that can support your wrist. Look at the amount of, you know, circumference that takes up on your wrist. These are thick. This is a very hard, very stretchy, thick fabric, right? This is gonna give you the support you need and the tightness to make sure that your wrists are not bending back on the bench press and it's nice and tight, and you can just power through that bench. So get yourself some good quality wrist wraps, guys. These are the Gangster wraps. I really, really like these. Like I said, not too expensive at all. They're about 30 to 40 bucks. It is worth it. It's gonna keep your, you know, your wrist healthy. It's gonna keep your wrist in the right position, and you're gonna be able to power through that bench and hit some bench PRs, guys. So get yourself some good quality wraps. Get yourself some knee sleeves. Knee sleeves are also really good. Like I said, they play the similar role that the belt does. It's just creating extra support around that knee, you know, to make sure that you're not getting injured in any way. And yes, sleeves are very good. I love them. Like I said, stop getting those little Hardbringer sleeves and all those little thin sleeves that like slide off while you're squatting. Get yourself something thick. Like this is a very thick fabric. SBDs are really good, one of my favorite. Like I said, very hard to stretch through. This will not slide while you're squatting. This is tight as heck. And last but not least, guys, lifting straps, right? You don't have to get fancy with these. They don't have to be of a specific, you know, thickness or fabric. I don't really go too crazy with these. I only really use them for hypertrophy. I do use them sometimes for high volume deadlifts. That's about it. I don't really pull heavy maxes with the straps. So get yourself some lifting straps, guys. Really good, especially if you're doing back or you're doing rack pulls or you're doing volume with your deadlifts. The lifting straps will really help because you don't want to be in the mixed grip all the time. Just, you know, to fix imbalances, you want to make sure that your grip is overhand, you know, for some portion of your training. Now you know everything that you need to be optimal as a lifter. Thank me later after you purchase all these things and you realize that everything I said was true. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank me later. Willie Flex with 3X. I'm out.